All right, welcome to the Morning Spike. We are all the Nerd Huddle coming together to help you out with your fantasy football and football news. So we are in the I keep wanting to say 2021. It's 2022 offseason. And the combine is going. I think today's the last day of the combine. But majority of the good stuff already happened. So we're going to talk about that and some news around the NFL and then kind of get you caught up with all of that. But my name is St. Kramer with Brian from Panda and Grizzly Show and Mark from the Dynasty Pylon. What is up?
What's up?
How's it going?
Yeah, man. That is it, man. Now we're just watching people run for entertainment for our football. Yeah. Just how fast can you run and how high can you jump?
Excited for today. Today's kickers.
Yay!
and defensive backs.
Nice. Yeah.
It's almost football player.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. But before we get into that, we'll get into some of the other news around the league. One I woke up to was Brian Greasy is leaving ESPN to go be a quarterbacks coach in San Francisco. What do you guys think about that?
Makes sense. He ain't have a job. I already hired Troy Aikman, so he might as well go do something else. I mean, And he had no other job. What is he going to do? They don't have anything else. You know, unless he wants to go to be a television crew, like for, I don't know, a random Thursday night game that they finally get, even though the guy who owns it, I mean, I don't know what else he would have done. He got to go do something else.
He could be one of the broadcasters for the Nickelodeon crew. Get slimed.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Greg.
Oh no, I was like, it's kind of interesting because they were saying, that Shanahan might leave to be an announcer with Amazon. Was it?
That's because all the money they're pulling out.
Yeah, they offered Sean McVay over $100 million.
McVay. I'm sorry, McVay, not Shanahan. Yeah.
He turned it down though. He said no.
I think that's stupid. He's so young. Right. I would have did that for 4 or 5 years, made me $100 million, and then came back and still be the youngest coach out there. So
still be under 40.
I don't know though, man. I mean, would you just have a Super Bowl team, and I'm sure you want to live it up. You don't want to pull one of these Aaron Donald kind of thing and say, "Oh, it's all I need. I might retire if I win it." So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this guy loves coaching, and I can see him coaching for a long-ass time if he plays the cards right, you know what I mean? But, yeah.
For 4 to 5 years, $100 million, and still be under 40.
Yep.
Yeah.
And be able to come back to coaching. You will be the hottest name. You know what makes people really want you? You're not being available. Ask Bill Cowher.
I was gonna say that happened to Bill Cowher, and he said he was coming back. He never did. He was like, "This is like stress-free money. I'm gonna take it."
Exactly. Yeah. I get $10 million to sit here and do nothing.
Right.
I mean, when's his contract up?
And I get to talk to everybody still.
It was this year. I think his contract. Like all of the LA Rams contracts, it seemed like we're up this year. Like that's why this was the year for them. But also it's also family too. It's like. He could do that for 5 years. I think he has some kids. I don't know how old they are. Yeah. But I mean,
growing up, can you imagine that they're elementary school, they just started to play football, being there every day, seeing them, picking them up from school. There's nothing better than being able to pick your kids up.
Yeah. So I mean, like 5 years, they're about to start high school or something like that. They, teenagers don't give a shit about parents. So that's the person. Go back to the NFL. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, watch daddy on TV now. Yeah. Or because so I don't know. I would have taken it because you can always go back to coaching.
Exactly.
If you're not important for the broadcasting team at that time, they don't care. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But
he's 36.
Yeah.
So he'd be if he done that, came back, he would have been 40.
Yep.
I can see that.
Yeah, and he's already been coaching for 5 years. This is not like he's been doing this for a short amount of time. He's already been coaching for 5 years. Now you can take another 4-year break and then coach for the next 30 years of your life. And literally.
Yeah. He's also quoted as saying he started early because he wants to end it early. Like he doesn't want to be one of those guys that coaches until his 50s or 60s. He said he wanted to get in there, do his stuff, and then get out early for family reasons, I'm assuming. But
yeah, well, according to he's projected to make 15 to 18 a year, which is not that far from what they offered him for the next 4 to 5 years.
It's hard being an NFL coach.
Yeah, I understand that. It's not my
and
problem.
You know what Yahoo's going to ask him to do? Show up on Wednesday, leave on Thursday.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's done.
You could work from home over the weekend, do your homework.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, now that I think about it, that doesn't sound too bad. How much? 100 a year for 45 mil?
Yeah.
Give me 20 for 45, and I'll do it.
I was like, shit. What? 100 mil? It's like $20 million a year to work 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
What? When you work as an NFL coach, you work 7 days a week, all the time, holidays, everything.
Yeah.
Man.
Get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night. Hey, your player's been arrested. You're like, what the fuck, man? You don't want to deal with this shit, man. You know, so.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So that was kind of weird. We started with Brian Greasy, went the other way, but yeah, it's just weird how announcers and coaches were a big talk this year. I don't think I ever heard so much talk around coaches and announcers than any other year in the NFL. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, GMs, I mean, it's
GM, a lot of GM talk.
It's crazy.
And then we also got another thing with the Commanders are throwing everything they can to get a quarterback.
Did you see Mark's face?
He knows.
Oh, dude.
They went after who they went after Mahomes.
Yeah, they called the Chiefs first.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they would have had to give up to get him.
I wonder what they offered. Well, I wonder if they even offered anything. Were they like, "Hey, is he up?"
I think the call goes to them like, "Hey, I'm calling to see, do my due diligence. Make sure what can we do for Patrick Mahomes? Is he available? For whatever, and it's whatever he said a blank check you want me to write, and it's like they probably said, "Nah, we good." He said, "Okay, cool. Is anyone else? Whatever." And let's move on to the next question. It was just do your due diligence.
I would assume. Why not?
That's
why I think the fact that they got to actually an offer for Russell Wilson makes me feel like something might be there.
It's Pete Carroll. Think about it. The Bears had everything done with Russell Wilson. The deal was done. Pete Carroll put the kibosh on it. It's Pete Carroll doing this. It's going to take Russell Wilson going to him and saying, "Look, I want to go here."
Well, that's what my hope is. My hope is like after the draft and all that, like Seahawks don't do really much of anything to be able to improve the team because they're strapped for cash. They have no picks. And Russell just goes, "You know what? I'm not playing here." And then they're forced to trade him. And then I'm like, then maybe we can get him cheaper because.
Can you imagine what they offered him or offered for him already?
They said multiple first.
Yeah.
That's all I heard was multiple first. I don't know. That's probably 2. That has to be more than 2 because that's a couple.
So who do you think? Who do you think they're gonna be aiming for next? Deshaun Watson?
I heard Deshaun Watson. I heard Carson Wentz. Oh yeah. I don't know how I feel
Carson
about that one. Jimmy G, I heard is on the table.
I think Jimmy G is a very, could be reality for you guys, unfortunately.
Well, that's what I was telling Brady. I said, if we could get Jimmy G and then draft Nakobe Dean with our first round pick, I think we'll have a solid team going into next year. I really do.
I love that one from Jimmy Mills because I could see Andy Reid laughing like J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man when he asked about
That's what I just pulled up. It was like,
that's funny.
Like, hey, well, you looking to trade Mahomes? And then it's just. That's all it was.
Yeah,
Andy Reid down here. The owner, and then Andy Reid just is like with his blank stare that he always does.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna see if I can edit that. Just put the Commander logo over Tobey Maguire.
So yeah, you mentioned Carson Wentz might be going. I don't think there's really nothing there for them. I mean, I don't know about Carson Wentz much. I don't want to think anything of it. He's on the same level as Nick Foles. Like, he helped win the Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl ring. He has a Super Bowl championship.
Except he didn't do it.
Right, exactly.
He didn't do it. Carson Wentz never did anything. He had one good half a season, and he's been living off of that ever since. And he's a turnover machine. He's not a good leader. And I don't know if I want him to be he go to Detroit. Just saying. They're going to release him.
Calling Green Bay and seeing what's up with Rodgers is not a bad call either.
Well, I think Rodgers needs to know what's up with Rodgers before anybody does anything there.
Oh gosh, I know we'll keep him from Grizzly, but you see what Charles Barkley said about him?
No.
No. Oh,
it was so funny.
Yeah, Charles Barkley. He pretty much called him like he's the NFL diva kind of thing.
No, he said Aaron Rodgers is he's that pretty girl that has to be already told that she's a pretty girl. Like, she has to always hear. If she doesn't hear every 5 minutes, there's a problem. I'm not pretty anymore. He has to be that pretty to be heard. I'm pretty.
Here's the exact quote from Charles Barkley. He goes, "I think he's the pretty girl that you got to tell she's pretty every day. I'm starting to think that he's that girl. Like, oh, I don't look good today. Like I told you 5 days in a row, you good. I got to tell you every day apparently. So I'm starting to wonder." That's what Barkley said.
That's funny.
That's a pretty good analogy. That's a pretty good analogy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not a bad call. Honestly, Dalton's going to be free. I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders go after Dalton. And also Trubisky,
I think Trubisky,
I don't know.
Giants. I think that's happening.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. We got Martin coming in.
I heard Trubisky's likely landing spot is the Colts.
That makes sense too.
That would be a good fit. That would be a really good fit. I think he learned a lot probably this year, and then I think he could take that to the Colts.
He learned a lot from being the backup of the Bills than he did his whole time with Chicago.
Hey, Nagy didn't show and meet with him afterwards. He's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Okay, don't diss someone's team.
Yeah. So Martin said it's bad. Like, why even think about asking? I really want to know what was in the coffee that morning by considering a trade for Patrick.
Vodka.
It's well, it's like Moneyball. If you ever see Moneyball when they're like making all the calls all at once and I mean that's like, I know it's like a movie, so blah blah blah, but that's pretty real when it comes to like GMs. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff you hear. You just get random calls and like, hey, what do you want for him? He's like, he's not for sale. I didn't ask that. I'm like, what do you want for him? I was like,
right.
Yeah. And then as Roger combs his hair, thinking mirror, mirror on the wall.
That's good.
So is like Joe Burrow, his Snow White.
I actually saw a scenario where we actually tried to get Tyler Huntley. I wouldn't mind that one either.
Yeah. There's some really good quarterbacks that would fit, I think, pretty well in Washington.
But I personally don't think the Ravens are going to give up Tyler Huntley, to be honest.
Exactly. I think Huntley might be the starting quarterback in 2 years.
Yeah. Either that. I mean, they know Jackson's not going to be there the whole season, so.
Yeah.
So we have our starting quarterback number 1 and our starting quarterback number 2, and they look just alike, except our backup is actually more durable.
And he likes to throw to Mark Andrews.
Exactly.
My guy.
All right. So what do you think of go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go.
I was wondering where you guys think Amari Cooper is going to land. Because you mentioned Mark Andrews and remind me by Baltimore. So I could see him possibly going to Baltimore. Because they do need a receiver.
Yeah. The thing with Amari Cooper is he's going to want a lot of money. And his production, I mean, We had 21 receivers that had over 1,000 yards last year, and Amari Cooper wasn't one of them.
I think he got hurt too for a while.
Yeah. You had Gallup,
like 5
you had
or 6 games.
CD Lamb. Did any of those receivers hit 1,000?
CD Lamb did.
Right. He's the number 2.
CD Lamb was number 1.
Right.
Well, they're losing Gallup and Cooper, so I was like, "Whoo, CD."
No, but what they said they're probably going to keep Gallup. That's what they're saying. They're
going to keep Gallup.
So they're releasing him to keep Gallup, so they could have Gallup, Wilson, and CD Lamb, and then get rid of Amari Cooper because they paid him $20 million for 86 catches, where Wilson can walk right in and get 60 of them, and that's more for CD Lamb to catch. So they really don't lose the production, and they lose $20 million off their payroll when they're in a cap hell already.
All right.
So here's Cooper's stats real quick. So he finished with 865 yards on 68 receptions and 8 touchdowns in 15 games. He had 2 100-yard games in the first 7 weeks and none in the remaining 8. He had 3 games with 2 receptions and 1 with 3 receptions, and he missed 2 games because of COVID. So,
what about his previous year?
I don't know.
Yeah, but he also.
I mean, no one's gonna look at it though. Yeah, you always look at what you did last. It's like, what did you do last? How was your last game?
And but I can see him. What do you think? He's always hurt. They always on injury report every week. He doesn't miss. He plays. He just doesn't play well, but he plays. But he always hurt. So for a young receiver, you want to put money in them, especially when you're going to have a draft that has this many receivers in it. Do you really want to pay him that much money? I'd rather have Allen Robinson any day.
Yeah, because he's going for 18 to 22, 20 to 22. If I'm mistaken, Amari Cooper is. Yeah, I really can't see him doing that well anywhere else except for maybe a handful of teams where they desperately need. I mean, Jamie Mills said, I can see him going to New England. They don't really have a right receiver one, number 1 stud. So that's actually a pretty good landing spot as well, because he's only 28, I want to say. Amari Cooper is.
I'm on it. 20. He's gonna be 28 by the time the season starts.
So. Right. So by that time, you have him. You have who's a pretty boy QB out there, another pretty boy QB at New England. So
I don't know about. There's a lot of pictures with little man boobs.
But yes, I mean, I think that'll be a good fit.
Myers. I mean, New England has some guys out there. They don't have a number 1 receiver, but for Belichick, you have to be able to play. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing with him. You can't be on the injury report every week. He's not going to want. If you don't pass the doctors, then I don't see them going for that guy.
Yeah. So then, real quick, so I looked up Amari Cooper's previous years. So in 2020, he played 16 games, so he only missed 1. 92 receptions out of 130 targets. And 1,114 yards with 5 touchdowns. So a little bit better. And even the year before that, he still missed a game.
Well, they only had 16 games those years.
16. Oh, yeah. So he did miss a game. So yeah, my bad. That's I forgot.
I know you kept. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. See how it is? Like, it's just what happened last.
Right.
So it's like, what?
We have natural now. 70 games every year.
Yeah. But the year before that, he was pretty good. 79 receptions, 119 targets with 1,189 yards and 8 touchdowns.
That was with the Raiders.
That was still 2019 was still Cowboys.
Oh, okay, Cowboys.
The problem is that in those years, it's going from 25, 26, 27, 28. You know what I'm saying? Like as you get older and your production is dropping, they're not going to give you more money. You want $20 million for you not to be doing well? I don't think so.
That's the Martin theory of wide receivers. The closer you get to 30, the more of a decline you get. which it's a hard theory to really deny when the stats really show it, and then once you hit 30, you really hit like a big cliff drop off. Yeah. But I mean, there's a few outliers, but for majority of them, the closer you get to 30.
Yeah, look what happened to Fitzgerald. So,
that man was 50.
Julio Jones, he turned 30 in
a long time. Yeah, he was there for a long time. Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, he's old now. I mean, he's old, man. Jerry Rice had 1,000 yards when he was 40. So I'm just saying, there's guys that can do it.
Yeah, Jerry Rice. That was what, late 1900s.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was there at his birth and his ending. Shit.
So, man, well, you said the 1900s.
The late 1900s.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the combine. Any big ones that stood out for you guys before we get into like some of the ranked ones on CBS and NFL.com and stuff like that?
Having 12 wide receivers get under 4.4s, that's pretty crazy. In the 4.3s and 4.2s, there's 12 wide receivers. That's nuts.
Those guys are robotic machines or reptiles that no one knows hidden in NFL skin. So that is crazy. I mean, that is a lot. I mean, I'm not saying I don't remember ever hearing something like this before. So there's like a hand-picked, and I got my mind is everywhere because I remember last year, Martin had said, you're going to have a lot of great wide receivers coming out of this class before this year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have a lot of great wide receivers, and yet shitty quarterbacks. There's only like one or two. That's it.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. The only guy I keep hearing is about the guy from Pitt.
The one with the small hands. Take my strong hand.
His girlfriend had to release a statement about it, like his hands ain't small.
Jesus,
his girlfriend literally had to like go on social media and say shit. That's hilarious.
Oh my god,
Jesus,
that's so funny.
Yeah,
but no, that's amazing. What do you think, Mark, about all those wide receivers?
Well, it wasn't just wide receivers though. Like they had more offensive linemen go under 5 since like 2003. Like the defense, like you got a freaking 6'6", 340-pound guy running a 4.78.
Stupid.
Like it is crazy. And then you got Jared Cook running the exact same 40 time as his brother Dalvin Cook. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's because these defensive guys are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And these linemen are getting lighter and stronger and faster too. So like these guys are beasts. The fat guy who can't run is going extinct in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many receivers does Ohio State have? Because there's like 4 or 5 of them in this combine. And I was like, do they have anybody left on their roster now?
Reload.
Right.
Reload.
All of them ran like 4.4 or better, I think, too. I was like, what the heck?
Yep. That's the Olave that fall to the Bears. Come on, Olave. I called it last year. With Justin Fields. I'm calling Olave this year for the Bears. Second round. Let's go. Put it right there. Putting a seed in your mind, guys. Okay, it's coming.
Just probably was that manifest it. Keep saying it to come true.
That's why I do Justin Fields. Everyone's
I was gonna say he did it last year. It worked out for him.
He's crazy. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. That was straight out the blue. There was like no hint, no talk, no nothing. Just 11th Chicago Bears traded. Or like you see Brian Joe, yes, and he was out. All you saw was an empty chair. That's it.
I saw Martin react, and I didn't know how to feel when Martin reacted. I was like, is that good or bad?
But his reaction could have been either way, though. That's why. We're all like, huh? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's funny. But yeah, man. So they got so CBS Sports, or I don't know, sorry, NFL.com has some of the big winners. Is Skye Moore, Western Michigan wide receiver, Chris Olive, Ohio State wide receiver.
That's the guy we want.
Yeah, and he had like crazy, 4.39 in his 40 and 32-inch vertical, and a 10.4 broad jump. It was like Jesus.
10.4.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Broad jump. Yeah.
You think that's crazy?
I mean,
Jordan Davis, the 6'6" guy, had a 10.3.
Yeah, that's at 340 pounds.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. God, can you imagine like lose 100 pounds and he like how many more inches of height? Yeah.
I was like, good Lord.
That's a lot of weight moving around.
You wonder why you
like you said, these
nose tackle. You can't stop going that big, that powerful, that explosive at nose tackle. That's why Georgia is running over people. And I'm just, I can't run this way. The center can't block him. He's too big, too strong. He's too much.
Yeah. They also got so Maryland's tight end. I apologize for murdering your name. Shing Okunko. It's OKONKWO.
Yeah.
Right there. There it is. So Kanko. So yeah, but he's definitely he was on their list of winners. And then Christian Watson from North Dakota State, and then Malik Willis from Liberty, QB.
I like Malik.
I guess he showed a lot of good stuff.
Malik Willis was already up there on there, but he's a project guy that could end up being your star, and the only quarterback that could be a star in this draft. Probably.
Yeah. And then they got he's really good. But he chose not to run the 40, which I don't think is that big of a deal for, especially with QBs. I mean, I don't know.
I think he wants to be running in a controlled environment. It's hard.
It's pro day.
Yeah, so when you're in the combine, or the underwear Olympics, it's really hard to keep your focus. So you want to be in a controlled environment in your stadium when they control everything. Every blade of grass, all this stuff is going on. So when you're doing it, you do it your best. So you don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, I think you can get away with it with him being like one of maybe two good quarterbacks in the draft. He's like, who else are you gonna go with? It's like if you want a quarterback, he's like, yeah, you gotta wait for me. It's like he knows he kind of holds some of the cards in this draft. Yeah. So where a wide receiver is like, no, you have to play the game because you are literally one of dozens.
Yeah. So there's literally 23 wide receivers in this draft that probably get drafted in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Ridiculous number.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then NFL.com got some losers. They got David Bell from Purdue, wide receiver. I guess he didn't do too well. He had a 33-inch vertical, under 10-foot broad jump, and a 4.65 40-yard dash. So I guess he didn't do good. And then Treylon Burks from Arkansas, wide receiver, same thing. Didn't perform.
That was a guy.
He had a 4.55 40-yard for 225 receiver. I don't know. I mean, you got a guy who's 100 pounds heavier running faster than you. Come on.
But the thing about the 40 is that it's such a technique thing. Like, you have great technique, you can just shave crazy time off your 40. And I think it's the wrong thing to be looking at. You should be looking at film.
Yeah. No, I agree. I always thought like some of this stuff was kind of
yeah, I do agree, because when we were watching his film, I even said like he doesn't look the fastest, but he looks like deceptively fast when you're watching his film. Like he catches people off guard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wait, and you said he was a receiver?
Yeah.
Here's his 40. I just had it up here.
Oh, he didn't have good.
I don't even think Deebo Samuel's really that fast.
That was
he's shifty and he makes people miss.
Yeah, it was a bad off the line. It seems like his feet weren't too good.
Just another one.
Yeah.
He didn't go straight ahead.
Yeah.
I bet he'll be faster on his pro day.
Exactly. Exactly. He's gonna go on this pro day. He's gonna run a 4.4, and it's gonna be just great for him because really, when you look at the film, he gets open. That's what matters because it means you're able to get in and out of your break quickly. That's what really matters. I mean, think about Cooper Kupp, who had a bad 40. Could anyone stop him? I mean, it doesn't matter what you run in a 40 because how often you run a straight line. Unless you're a running back, who gives a crap?
Right.
It doesn't matter. Can you move and get out of your cuts?
That's why I always thought that too. That whenever you watch a 40 run, okay, why are you watching a 40 with an offensive lineman? Yes, I know you can't have a slow guy. You don't want that because you want him to shuffle out. You want him to do all this crazy shit. But really, how well is he gonna run out for passes? As a tight end. So I mean, that's why with the 40 time on this guy, for them giving him a bad review, yeah, he's probably shitty on the 4.5 time, on the 40 time. Okay, I understand that, but that's still 4.5. It's not a 4.4, 4.3, 4.2. It's still a 4.5, and that is okay with me because, like Brian said, and like I was going to mention before, he's a great hands guy. He's an open guy. Those stats, honestly, I wouldn't even bother with them or look at them if I were these guys because they're just hurting their poor kids' morale. Oh man, I'm not. No, fuck that. You do you. You be you, and you conquer you. Because guess what? In the end, it's all about you. You do your best. You put out your best foot, and you do it. And if you get drafted, which you probably will, because not everybody comes to these combines and they look at them and even spectate them. How many players go out there? 900? 1,000 players? No.
They invite like 1,000 and then they hear a special thing for another 200. So it could be a lot of people.
And then that's the other thing. They don't mention all 1,000. They really don't. They don't mention every 1,000, every single player was good or bad. What they do is take out the ones that they thought they would be prospective, and then they grade them. So yeah, for him to be mentioned,
it's about the medicals. That's the only thing that combine.
Oh yeah, I understand that. But if you let's just say you get 50 players, they're all clear, no medical history, no ankles, no knee breakage, no nothing. Let's just get all of that out the way. That's dead even. It's personally, I think they should just even not do that stuff because that stuff is just gonna just hurt the morale. Because some people are strong, some people are kind of not. Some people fucking live off the internet.
So combine things that matter, really. I mean, so that 225 actually matters. So like if you're a tight end, you're a tight end, and you're on the 225 and you can't do it more than 10 times, you're probably not gonna be able to block. Because what do you do when you're blocking?
Yeah, exactly.
So like that's if you're a center and you can't do 225, 15 times, that might be a problem. So defensive ends, so that matters. I think the bench matters. I think the shuttle matters. The things that we don't ever talk about. The shuttle matters.
Right. The cone drill.
Cone drills matter. How can you get quickly in and out of your breaks? Those matters. The 40 really doesn't matter. I mean, who's the greatest wide receiver of all time? In my opinion, probably the best football player of all time, Jerry Rice. Ran a 4.7 40. Who really cares?
Wow.
Can you get open? It's like it's about routes. It's about being able to get in and out of your cuts. It's about being smart, know how to play football. That's what really matters. So I'm saying like these guys, it's not always about who's the fastest. It's about who can really move and play football. I mean, Randy Moss was unguardable, but he wasn't the fastest guy, but he had these long strides and he played football fast. That matters. You can teach someone how to run fast. They tell you exactly where to go cheek to cheek, how to run, how to get off. You have little things where you have like this little steamroller on the back to teach you how you get off, how to stay low, all that stuff. You can teach how all that. I mean, I shaved 0.2 of a second off my 40. I didn't run any faster. I just technique. So some people just aren't really good with technique and understand that. But you also don't see a guy that is going to run a 4.5 40 that you see in the game. It's going to get to 22 miles per hour. Because once they rev it up, it's crazy.
Well, that's Toxic Nix NYX. What is up? Thank you for joining us. Got the Viking logo on there.
If we had a Viking horn, I would do that.
That's funny.
What's up? But yeah, I agree with that. I mean, a good for me, I always put it in high school. You have that presidential athletic test and shit like that. I would crush everything. I would be number one for sit-ups, push-ups, this and that, and crush it, right? And I would be, me being a bigger guy, I had really good technique. I had a guy who, on a rugby team was a sprinter. So he showed me techniques on how to train to be a better runner. So I could run short distances very, very well. Anything over 40, I'm dead, dead in the water. So I would run really, really fast. And Fredo knows one of the guys we used to know, Alberto. He was a cross country guy. So I would crush 3 out of the 4 out of the 5 events, but then the 2 mile run, I don't have stamina like that because I'm not made to do that. I wasn't trained to do that. And then everything I didn't matter because they would have 2 minutes on me, on the 2 mile run or whatever the hell, they would legit have over a minute on my time. And I lost everything because of that one thing. I was like, that's bullshit. So I'm I destroyed them in every other category except for the last one, but the last one is all that mattered. It was where stuff like that doesn't matter because it's how you're trained, like you said. Mm-hmm. So
I think 20-yard dash, honestly.
Yeah,
that should be.
That would be good. Yeah,
because
but even
and tell you, this is these guys that I used to run with. That you come off the line, that could be 5 yards ahead of you before you're even getting started. It's because they have this explosive technique. They're able to. That's what you want. You got that explosive. He'd be great on the defensive line, but that's the thing you got to see. The get off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even look at somebody like Devin Hester. That man was insane with the running. He couldn't catch the ball for his life. It's so unless it was falling into his arms, he wasn't a great wide receiver. Then we got Hefe KC. What is up, man? Chiefs draft Tyler Batty from Mizzou. Yeah, I haven't heard too much of his name. I heard it, but I haven't seen it. I didn't even hear that name at all during this weekend that much.
He ran a 4.45.
4.45.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad, but when you, like you said, when you have when you say 20-something guys that ran under 4.4,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, 4.45, you're like, you almost had it. It's and that's bonkers for me. And then the last loser, or I don't know what they're calling it, is Jake Ferguson from Wisconsin as a tight end. They said he needed a big combine, and he didn't have that one. He 15 bench press reps, and a 4.8, and 4.8. So yeah, it was just kind of So I don't know. I mean, you're saying the 4.81 at the 40. I'm sorry, and he's 250 pounds. So.
I know it sounds really bad, but as I said, a lot of these times, if your route running matters more than your speed. Cole Kmet is fast, but he was always glued to somebody, right? It sometimes just depends on how evasive you are, how you know how to get off, push off without getting flagged. Those little things matter more, but bench matters. If you can't bench 225 more than 15 times. I mean, I'm 37 years old. I could go put 225 on the bench right now and bench 25 times. So I'm just saying, you better be able to do that. You're not going to go block these defensive ends without being able to do that. You're not strong enough. You got to go to the NFL locker room. there's gonna be guys that are benching 445 10 times, 15 times. Come on, you got to be able to do the part, look the part. I think kickers do 18 times on the
well, let me just. I got this one little quick story. When I went for the semi-pro team, I did 0. I couldn't bench it because I didn't have the upper body strength at the time. I went ahead. I made that team out of pure fucking gut and wrench and whatever. Okay, I became a starter for the special teams kickoff. Cool. When there are times where we were not where we're down, where we're ahead, and they went ahead and put the scrubs in, let the starters rest. I went in there and I had a half a sack with one. Actually, like in total, like 3-4 pressures, and I'm going against a guy that I don't know if he was a starter or not. All I know is I couldn't. I knew I had to be a faster guy than him. I'm not. La Bamba? What the fuck?
Sorry, Mark. I had to mute you. It was like it sounded like the Indy 500 out there.
No. So anyway, I knew I wasn't going to be able to go through him because I'm weak. So I went around him, and I got around him with technique. Even though I had 0 benches, I still got through, and I still gave the quarterback pressure. So it's little things like that. What else do you need? It's like if you can't bench, that doesn't mean you suck at that position. It just means you got to find.
Doesn't mean you're not going to play football. It's not like you're a bad football player. It means you're not getting drafted. Mm-hmm. You're going to go
unless there's a team out there willing, like, okay, this could be a project guy.
Yeah, that's still to bring you in as a free agent. Unsigned free agent. They're not going to draft you if you don't have the numbers because they're worried about that. But there's football players that just are football players. That's not a question. That's but when you're looking at things, there's going to be certain things they're going to be looking at. You have to be able to bench this. You have to be able to run a little bit. As long as you hit the clip, like as long as you're not a tight end running 5-0, you're not you get over 15 reps on your thing, and you run you can jump at least 30 inch vertical. You're fine. You're a football player. Now you look at the tape. I honestly believe that you look for red flags. Is all you're looking for when you're drafting someone. It's not the end all be all because it's the short. As I said, the underwear Olympics. It really doesn't mean everything, but it means enough. It's just look for red flags because you have no idea how people are going to develop.
Underwear Olympics.
That's what it is.
I like that.
And then we got Duolingo 500. What do the Jets do for a perfect offseason?
Start over.
Yeah.
Start over. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they need so much work.
Yeah, I was gonna say offense. They need receiver, offensive line, tight end.
Yeah. I mean,
is your QB proven? Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Who is their QB again?
Zach Wilson.
Last year, rookie, second pick in the draft.
Yeah.
The Jets are gonna do something stupid like go get Ezekiel Elliott. I think Zeke's going to trade. I think Zeke's getting traded. I think really what you should be doing is trying to get a great offensive defensive line. That's not what's going to happen. They're going to look for a splash, and they don't need that.
No. See, I personally think look at next year's draft. Screw this one. Look next year. Maybe pick up a receiver since there's a shitload on the run of the 4-3. So go ahead and pick up a receiver. And then the rest, trade for next year's picks. You got a second rounder, trade for next year's second rounder with another second or third or whatever. Start building up for next season. And then therefore next season will come around. You're going to have a crappy this season again. but your stock would be a little bit better, and you have all these extra picks, 13 of them. Let's just say 13. Now with those 13, you go ahead and trade. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if that's the only way
This
to
this
save
is
on your
not
cap.
a bad draft. It's not. This is bad quarterback. This is a great defensive line, offensive line, and wide receiver draft. If you're looking for those type of guys, the building blocks for your team, this is a good draft. This is not a bad draft overall. You know, these guys are, as we see, big, strong, fast building block guys. So if you're like the Jets, who have what I think they have 12 picks or something,
they have 10 this year.
You go get building block people. This is what you do. You need to go get your defensive tackles. You need to go find your guards. You need to go get your make sure you have your right tackle. You're not gonna find a great left tackle necessarily. Go get you a right tackle. Go get everyone else. Go get you a strong safety. Go get you a weak side linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like get those type of things. Things that to build your team up.
Okay, so go ahead.
Well, real quick. So round 1, they have the 4th and 10th pick. Round 2, they have the 35th and 38th pick. And round 3, they have the 69th pick. So just in the first 3 rounds, they have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
2 and 5.
You could get you go get a left tackle. You go get you a running back in the 2nd round. You go get a wide receiver at the 10th pick. I mean, I'm not as good as Mark. Mark will know more than I will. I'm just saying that these guys, this is not a bad draft. It's a good draft for guys that you're going to have a winning team for. It's just not a good quarterback draft.
Right. Well, I think they're set up. They could bring in Drake London and probably Jordan Davis. And that right there would transform both their offense and defense.
Yeah. That's 4th and 10th right there. Yeah.
Or if they don't want to use a receiver, there's a bunch of them in free agency they could pick up too.
Yeah, exactly.
They could do something else. Like you said, offensive lineman or Kyle Hamilton at safety.
Exactly.
That guy, 6'4" safety. That's nuts.
That's scary.
They have a lot of cap space. They have 48 mil in cap space this year.
For the Jets, then?
Yeah. So they can make some good big splash names. Speaking of like what Hefe said, Watson, that would be interesting.
Terrible.
No, they got their guy. I think
field day.
Yeah, they got their guy, and he's. Well, if you go that early in it, you have to give it at least a couple seasons to
you have
give it a good investment.
I agree. Yeah, Josh Rosen,
all offense.
All offense for the Jets.
And then here we go. We got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they going to win 8 games this next year, Alfredo?
I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that.
I think you still owe a shot for that.
I think you do.
I owe 2 shots. Yes, that's between Martin. Yeah, I owe 2 shots. Now, once again, that was
the Jets could end up being okay. I mean, what do you do? What do you say? Okay, Amari Cooper, no one else wants you, so you go to the Jets for $17 million. They draft a left tackle and a second wide receiver, or a left tackle and a defensive end. Then in the 2nd round they get a linebacker and a safety. In the 3rd round they go grab a running back. You know what I'm saying? That could really change your entire team,
right?
And give you and give you number 1 receiver. And the question will then be: is Zach Wilson really a good quarterback? We'll find out now because we put some talent around him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the thing I was going to say. Well, the Jets become the only Saints. Will they become the Denver Broncos, where all you really need is a missing quarterback? You have all this great talent all around you. Now, really, are they become that team, or like you said, Wilson will step up and become the player that they all expected and they drafted him by? At the same time, how's the coaching? How is the offensive play calling? I mean, we all seen great teams with shitty play calling, which doesn't mesh well. I mean, that has to play a key part into it also. And only time will tell, man. I mean, first things first, the free agents. So once that comes up, let's see what they have to say.
Yeah,
No,
they're gonna make a splash. I think they need to make a big splash if they wanna like show the league like, hey, you know, we're gonna do something. You know,
they're in a tough division.
this is the year.
Thing. You look around,
Yeah.
that division is. I mean, that's tougher than the Bengals division. That you turn around and everywhere you look, the playoff teams.
Shit.
Miami won 7 in a row. Like that's the other, you know, that's this next worst team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's really tough. I mean, look at, you know, the Bills. You gonna beat the Bills? Just, you know, the New England Patriots with the greatest coach of all time. I mean, they just really are in a really tough division. And
so who's in their division again? New England,
Miami, and Buffalo.
Buffalo, Miami,
Miami, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if they want to play with the big
like
boys,
what Brian was saying, if they want to make assets for next year, they can always trade back. I'm sure there's probably a team who wouldn't mind taking the 4th, and we'll take your first next year. Do it with the 10th
just make sure, right?
If you
receivers are deep,
defensive
players are pretty deep. I mean, they could still score some decent players and then set up themselves for next year too.
If they don't believe in Zach Wilson, I think you do that. If you do believe in Zach Wilson, you go get your left tackle.
Yeah, you look hard. Fight. You got. I mean, they invested a lot, you know. And I always hear like a Greeny on ESPN. He's like a diehard Jets fan, so I always like hear him talking about it, and he's always like, you have to, you know, they invested, which I agree. It's like, you know, when you spend that much at like worthness, like in a draft, you got to give them some years. You know, you can't do what, like, you know, Chicago knows that very well. They're like, oh, hey, we picked up this new quarterback. Yeah, but you know, no one to protect him and no one to throw to. So good luck. See you later. You know, it's, I don't know. I think he's got some potential, but like you said, if he doesn't have the weapons around him,
his mom just start talking for him.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. He's like, Ma, shut up. God, that's another thing this year. Like, how many, like between Mahomes and his family, his, you know, wife and brother, OBJ's dad, and then Wilson's mom. There's like, there's so many other people. Like, it's crazy.
I'm looking at that mock draft. They have Chris Olave going to the Jets in the 35th pick in the second round, right before the Bears. Right before the Bears. Killing me, man. You're killing me, Smalls. Killing me. But no, they have Oregon edge rusher at 4. They have Mississippi offensive tackle at 10, and then have Chris Olave at the second round for the 35th pick. I'm gonna be so pissed if that happens. I'm gonna be so Olave. It's going to the Bears. It's happening.
We need it.
Come on.
So real quick, we're gonna go for it.
I was just going to say, with all these mock drafts, I have yet to see a mock draft that doesn't have Washington taking a quarterback. But yet here we are calling all these teams trying to get a quarterback. And I'm like, I don't think we're going to draft a quarterback, guys. Because we'll either not have that pick or we'll still trade for someone after the draft. And I think they'll just get someone to help with the team because they want a veteran quarterback.
Yeah. But that quarterback could be a quarterback anyway. That pick will. Either they pick a quarterback or the team they send it to is going to pick a quarterback.
Exactly. That's what I guess that's true. I guess we could use it for like Malik Willis if he's there and be like, hey, we got Malik Willis.
Now, I have to really commend Washington for going out there and going for Mahomes, going for the big guy. You know, these guys are massive and they're going for them. So I have to.
Like, can you imagine if like they talk to him and they're like, well, what about this? And Washington's like, okay. And they're like, oh, Washington and the Chiefs come up with a deal for Mahomes. Everyone will be like losing their minds.
Oh my God.
Yes. But the answer would be like Washington only had to give away their first 10 first round picks for the next the first and second round picks for the next.
Probably
8
half
years.
of their team and
Uh,
Chase
they want
Young.
ticket. They want
Strong.
ticket
Like
sales.
everybody's
Right.
done.
It would be like the worst thing they ever. Like, yes, they got Mahomes, but they don't have anyone left. Everyone else can go.
That's all right. You don't need an O-line. Mahomes can run around back there for 40 yards and
That's
chuck it in
true.
the air.
I mean, Chiefs haven't had an offensive line until this past year, so
That's true. But I mean, he ain't gonna have anyone to throw it to. McLaurin's gonna be a Chief again. So it's just
probably.
Yeah. Anything else before we start winding down? We go for a little bit.
No.
As long as we didn't talk about Rodgers long, I'm happy about that. We didn't talk about Wilson that much. It seems like the Saints are going to re-sign Jameis Winston. That's what it looks like is happening.
Yeah. We got a question from Hefe. Will Jameis Williams get drafted in the first round? Jameson Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on how is he the receiver for the Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Alabama.
I think he's a backup round.
It just depends, I think, on his injury and how that's going because he tore his ACL in the championship game.
Yep.
I think he's a first-round talent for sure. I mean, you saw how horrible that high-octane offense was as soon as he got hurt. So I couldn't do anything.
He's like the third best wide receiver, but with all these wide receivers running sub 4.40s.
Oh, I know.
You feel like you would take. I would take the healthy wide receiver, more than Jameson Williams. So I could see him fall into the second round, but with a team that knows that he's not going to be back, not be there for the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks of the season, and then even then you're going to have to kind of really slowly bring him in. So hey,
I think it'd be safe to say I don't think he's going to play at all next year. Maybe towards the end.
I think it was January torn. He's a young guy. I could see 8 months him coming in, 9 months. So that puts you in what?
September.
October.
October, yeah.
October.
Yeah.
I mean, I think week 6, maybe. If independent what team. But hey, Jets, he's a good guy.
I mean, if you can get him in the second round, I think that'd be a steal. So
hey, it'll be a steal, Jets. Don't get Crystal out there.
So you're saying this guy is hurt?
Yeah, you don't remember the national championship game?
No.
Let me watch the other. Well, he got hurt in the game.
Yeah, it's like the first drive of the championship game.
Yeah, it changed the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they didn't have anyone else to throw the ball to, and it just changed everything.
Bryce Young looked pretty normal out there after that happened.
Well, you don't have
he was the Heisman Trophy winner.
He looked like Kyler Murray.
Right.
Too soon.
Well, the end of the season, Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I can see a team that like maybe is not like they have like their one, maybe even a 2, and they're like, oh, we could pick this guy up and rest him and have him come out next year, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, maybe Buffalo or Titans, something like that.
I can see him being drafted like past the third or not lower.
No way.
He's the best, most talented wide receiver in the draft, like really, but he just hurt. Like this was like a top 10 pick, no brainer, top 10 pick, and now he's hurt. But he's young. He's really, really young.
He's 20.
Yeah, he's going to bounce back.
Right.
This is not, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
This is not, this is he's going to be able to bounce back quickly. In the first round, early second round, I can see it.
He'll be 21. He'll be 21 in March 26.
To be 21 again, that'd be great.
The only thing that worries me about Williamson, though, is, I mean, he was like 6'2", 188 pounds.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to be able to do anything for like 6 months, I can only imagine how much smaller he's going to be. I don't think that'll translate well to the NFL.
Or how much weight he
So
might
he's-
gain. Be
Or
honest.
I guess it could be gained too.
That might
but,
be good.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit of wide receiver with a little beer belly.
yeah,
But
little-
even if you tear your ACL, you tear those, it's okay. You can still lift upper body. You can still do sit-ups. There's a lot of water exercises you can do. And now you have nutrition with these other nutritionists that make you follow a plan. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised he comes in at 190. The question is he going to trust his knee?
yeah,
And you know, honestly, because he's an Alabama wide receiver, he just go talk to the Slim Reaper. You know, just saying.
right.
Hey, how do you do it? How did you get this? Once again, explosion, getting off the line.
Right.
Those guys that can do those things have been able to do it since high school. You're all right. You'll be okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's start closing up here. So real quick, we didn't get into any defensive players because I know Dynasty Pylon, you guys on Wednesday and probably Thursday are going to talk about it. But it's some quick guys that you're probably going to hear is Damon Clark from LSU, Jordan Davis, which I know definitely Martin's going to bring that up. Trevin Walker from Georgia, Devontae
Trevin
Wyatt,
Walker had
Georgia.
a huge combine.
Yeah. So I mean, those definitely. I know you guys are definitely gonna talk about some of the defensive guys part of it because the whole IDP part of fantasy football. So I already know those were like the top guys for the combine on the defensive side of the ball. So if you want that, make sure you go follow Dynasty Pylon. Go check out their channel. They're gonna get you guys ready for all your defense and dynasty stuff. All for that, and then. Then Tuesday, Panda and Grizzly. We could probably talk about where some of these guys might get. Brian's putting the positive vibes out there for us to get what was his name? Olave,
Chris Olave.
Okay.
I'm talking to my Irish friends to see if I can get one of them with a little stick and he's gonna put a little curse on them and then make sure Olave comes to the Bears. So we'll be all right.
Yeah,
This happened.
Yeah, nice. So that's it for us over here. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're gonna do a bunch more stuff in the off season. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna do a bunch of breakdowns. We're gonna do some more mock drafts. That's for sure, and stuff like that. So make sure you follow Dynasty Pylon with Mark Martin, and you guys, bring on Brian every so often. Braden's always in chat, and that guy's the guy in the chair kind of for you guys. Like always has the info. And all that good stuff. But I know Fredo said his mic died, so he could just wave goodbye when we say bye. But that is it, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, like, all that good stuff. But let's get out of here, man. Enjoy our Sunday. Later, guys.
Yeah.